My sponsor Rock Bottom is currently running a special deal. Head on over to rockbottomcoins.com and use code Zirksee at checkout for a 30% off your order.
The whole thing wobbin', wobbin', wobbin'. When I come around, got the whole thing wobbin'.
What's going on, guys? It's Zirksee coming at you today with another YouTube video. And today, I'm going to give you guys my final opinions on the Madden 20 beta in the gameplay. I'm mostly going to be focusing on the gameplay aspect of it. You guys already know, or you probably do know, if you did see my video going over my initial thoughts and kind of how I felt with the game at first, I think it's definitely changed since then. I played a lot more games. I think I've probably played close to, I want to say over 20 games. I probably played over 20 games between playing online and also playing a couple games with some friends as well. I think that it has been overall a pretty solid experience. I'm not going to hype up the game just because I'm a YouTuber. I honestly feel as though this game could be very good. There's very few things that I think I'll say a couple things need to be changed, and I think this game could actually be extremely, extremely good. I do have to say this though, guys, if you are playing the Madden 20 beta, please use the forums. It will be the pinned comment down below. Please leave your feedback in the forums because EA needs to see it. EA needs to go ahead, fix the game, whatever you guys think that needs to be fixed. With that being said though, let's get into my final thoughts and what I think EA actually needs to fix this game, and also some things that I think are actually pretty good. Also, if you guys didn't notice, this is Madden 19 gameplay in the background. I unfortunately cannot show you Madden 20 beta gameplay because you just can't. You're not allowed to, unfortunately. But the first thing I will say, and I think I don't know if I overthought this maybe with my initial thinking of the game, but the wind-up speed, I will definitely say this. It is definitely a lot slower than Madden 19 in terms of quarterback release time, but I don't think they necessarily need to increase the wind-up speed for all throws. I just feel as though the wind-up speed needs to be increased for short throws. I'm thinking maybe passes within 10 yards. They need to increase the wind-up speed because there's no reason that your quarterback should literally have to wind up his entire throw motion to throw a 5-yard drag route. They should be able to sling it out there. So I think within 10 yards, it needs to be a little bit faster with the wind-up speed, because honestly, like blitzes, there's two things that happen. If you see a blitz that's coming, if you look down, if you look at your first read, it's not open, you look down really quickly to see if the pass rush is getting there. If you see a blitz is coming, you have two options. Make a blind read and just press a random button, or take a sack. That's your only option, and honestly, it shouldn't be like that. You should have enough time to really quickly look to your flats, look to your drags, see if someone's open really quickly, and try to throw it out there in time before like a safety gets there or a linebacker gets there, whoever, and you just don't really have that much time to do so right now unless you just make a pre-snap read if you know it's going to be a blitz. The second thing is the pass rush. I know I initially said that it honestly was really OP, and it did kind of feel like that. After playing a couple more games, it honestly doesn't seem that OP. And what I mean by that is it's only really good if they have a really good pass rusher. So if someone happens to have, Von Miller, or, well, I mean, Von Miller's not in the beta. The only people really in the beta are Cameron Jordan, Aaron Donald, and I guess the next best pass rusher would be like Frank Clark. And honestly, if someone's using the Patriots, they do not have a good defensive line because obviously they don't have Trey Flowers anymore. Their top D lineman is like an 82 overall. The Patriots get no pressure on defense. The only people that really do anything for me, and this is pretty crazy, but when you're using someone like the Saints and the Rams, it's literally only Aaron Donald and Cameron Jordan are the ones getting the sacks. I've played probably 20 games. I think I might have a total of 5 sacks total from other people except for the star pass rusher. Now, I do have to say those star pass rushers, they really do take over the game sometimes. Like Aaron Donald for me had a couple games where he literally had like 4 or 5 sacks. Cameron Jordan as well had a couple games with like 5 sacks. I feel as though edge pressure is actually a lot better than interior pressure this year. So like people like Von Miller, Khalil Mack, Cameron Jordan, defensive ends or outside linebackers coming around the edge, I feel like are a little bit better than guys just coming up the middle. That's just kind of how it always has been. Just around the edge seems to be a little bit better, and I think that definitely goes with this year. So I'm going to be very interested to see exactly how that's going to transition into Ultimate Team. I'm not sure like how these superstar abilities are these players going to be as effective. Like if I have an 89 overall base elite Khalil Mack, right? And it's like the first week of the game, and you have an 82 overall offensive lineman, Khalil Mack should be throwing that dude around the field. Like, he should be getting crazy sacks. That's obvious. But will it be like that in Ultimate Team versus head-to-head when you have, a 97 overall Khalil Mack versus an 83 right tackle? it's tough to know. It really is tough to know. So really with the pass rush, I don't really think it necessarily needs to be tuned. I think to go with the pass rush is the fact that if you just have faster windup speed on short throws, it kind of not really neutralizes it, but just makes it a little bit more even for the offense as well as the defense. So that's just all I think needs to be done to that. Honestly, pass rush, leave it alone. Just the windup speed on short throws needs to be sped up a little bit. Spins and jukes honestly feel really, really well. I honestly feel as though it's going to be more of a juking game this year, just from the games that I've played. Maybe I just haven't used someone that has good enough spin move, but the juke moves just feel super, super good, even with receivers and tight end. But with that being said, it is decently hard to tackle one-on-one in open field, which obviously tackling one-on-one in open field is pretty hard, even in the NFL. So that's kind of realistic, so they may just use that alone. But the use ring is still pretty hard to do. I've still noticed that with the lack of the jump with linebackers, it can still get very, it's just really hard to do. It's really hard to jump even a 5-yard route above you or a 3-yard route above you. You just really can't make a play on it at all, which you're super used to doing if you use your middle linebackers. So you really have to adjust to that. But you can still get slight, very slight, speed boost with a speedy linebacker to jump a route. Like Demario Davis for me has still been getting very slight speed boost to like jump a running back route. That's been most of the routes that I've been jumping with linebackers. That's basically it. Those and slants, you're not really going to be able to go from like a levels concept. Like if someone runs a drag and an in route on you, you're not going to be able to defend both. That's just not how it's going to work this year. A good thing though I'll say is there's no like camera switch on interceptions, which makes pick sixes a lot more frequent because your player doesn't like slow down at all when it comes to interception. They just keep running, because that's big. I think if you jump a running back route, I've pick sixed it probably every single time, as long as you have a fast enough linebacker or fast enough DB out there. So that's very, very good. Something that's very bad though is zone coverage. Linebackers in zone honestly are just about useless. Hook zones 95% of the time will not break on routes. In front of them, like literally like a slant or anything, they just will not make a play on it and just completely let the slant catch it. They might not get loose from hitting them, but they will not like put their hand out and swat it. The receiver 95% of the time gets their hands on the ball and has possession at least for a second. Having one in a purple is literally asking to get an out route thrown right over your head. There's like zero jump on that at all. So if someone runs a comeback or a 10-yard out route and you have a linebacker in the purple, it's like a guaranteed throw. It just seems like a year, honestly, for a defensive back heavy set. Now that's where it gets a little bad. With the fact that it's a defensive back, in my opinion, defensive back heavy set year, because linebackers are useless in coverage. They can't really do anything. They don't react at all in hook zones or even in purples. And honestly, DBs don't really react that well as well when it comes to purples. Purples are like super inconsistent in my opinions. Deep routes seem to be pretty good, but also hook zones for even a safety just don't play it that good. But with all that, the run game seems to be very, very good, especially with the jukes and spins and how well they do in open field. If it's one-on-one, the juking animations are super clean. I'll say that, like the animations themselves are really, really good this year. But it's super tough on defense, honestly, besides the good pass rush, because your zones don't play good, and you have to try and stop the run, which is already pretty good. But then your linebackers don't stop the pass. So you're forced to use DBs to try and stop the pass. But then if they run the ball, you're screwed because you have defensive backs out there. So really the only thing you can do is maybe sub in safeties. But even then, safeties aren't the best against the run, especially versus an offensive lineman. And I've seen multiple times, like a wide receiver for me will block a linebacker. And on the initial contact, they'll push them back like half a yard. And then they'll engage again with them. And it just makes it super easy to run the ball. So I feel like the run game is very good. It's a very... In my opinion, this is an offensive year. I don't think there's going to be a lot of defense, except for if you have a crazy pass rush going, and if you can blitz and manage to get it off. I've been able to still pick apart defenses sometimes if they blitz, if they specifically have the flats open, and I know it's a blitz, but I literally have to get the ball and immediately press a button to get the ball out if it's going to be a blitz. So that's kind of my issue, is that they need to boost linebacker coverage skills. Like, the fact they don't react at all to balls is very, very bad. And that hurts a lot when it comes to RPOs, because a lot of people love to run RPOs. And the number one RPO for me that really has done some serious damage is the stretch alert, because it's a stretch, and stretches seem to work very well this year. And then you have a slant route, and on that slant route, me and Eric Rayweather, a fellow YouTuber, we literally labbed this. We ran the stretch slant like 10 times, and every single time the linebacker would never ever make it out there. We put him in a purple zone, we put him in a hook, we shaded inside, we shade underneath, we tried just about everything, and you literally have to like manually user the linebacker or manually use your defensive back over like the safety in a hook zone. You're running like cover 3, take the safety that's going to be coming down and playing the purple because the cornerback goes up, and try to manually user that. But if you do that, they just hand it off to the run. So it makes RPOs overpowered because linebackers don't play their zones. So that's one of the big issues. Like my main 2 issues with this game is to speed up the quarterback windup speed and to increase zone coverages, especially on linebackers, because they just do not make any sort of plays. Fix the purple zones, fix the hook zones, I said fist, and of course the deep zones, they actually play pretty solid from my experience. That's mainly my most issue with this game. Also, high point throws, especially the back of the end zone, they tend to go out of the end zone like probably 75% of the time, which some people might like that because obviously high point fades are pretty cheap, especially like a high point curl route to a tight end. I've still seen it done, but most of the time, honestly, pass just go out the back of the end zone, and we're using QBs like Breeze, Mahomes. It's all good quarterbacks, so it just doesn't work really well this year. One thing I will say that I like a lot though that EA has done is receivers making sideline catches and not running out of bounds. I had a specific play with Julio Jones where he literally, it was a crossers play, it ran in the back of the end zone and he ran to their corner route. In years past, he would have just ran out of bounds and then basically I couldn't have thrown him all play. He actually stopped in the right corner of the end zone, turned around and made a catch and stayed in bounds. Like he literally stopped at the corner, turned around, I threw the ball to him, and he made a crazy animation. Like they did a really good job with some animations this year, and it really shows on the sideline catch as well. They really try to make a sideline catch, and there's not a ton of incomplete sideline catches, so I really like that if you have a solid receiver. That tends to work really well. Something I don't like though is after the catch on drag routes, corner routes, out routes, it seems like it's extremely hard to try and turn up the field with a wide receiver, a tight end, basically anybody. It's just hard to turn up the field after making like a short catch like that for some reason. You basically just get tackled. And to go along with the zones, literally, it kind of is cheese. If someone's running even a cover 3 and you have 2 middle linebackers in the middle of the field, I literally was able to throw a slant every single time. In the, like literally if you're on the 5-yard line, they're running cover 3 and they have 2 middle linebackers, so there's like even a deep safety, but they're more towards the corners. If you just run double slants, I guarantee you can press any button you want. You can throw a bullet into X or B, whatever, and you'll probably get a touchdown if they're in a slant because it goes right over the linebackers' heads. So it's really just, it's extremely hard for defense in my opinion, except for the pass rush. And 2 other things I want to talk about is there is actually a rare glitch. Now, it's only like one time, probably in like 20 games that it happened. I couldn't tackle the guy that got the pick. The guy that got the interception, I couldn't tackle him, which that is also a rare glitch that been in Madden 19, but I just really couldn't stop it. And also, sometimes throws on the run, like, for no reason at all. If I'm running backwards with Drew Brees, and I'm on the run, and I press literally on a receiver button, I can throw the ball to them. Like, if it's 60 yards down the field, if I'm throwing off my back foot, you can still make crazy, crazy throws. Now, I will say this. Defenders seem to play the aggressive catch really well, especially on errant throws like that where they're just stopped. The receiver usually does not come down with it. I will say that if you're chucking it up, if you're throwing it down the seams and there's a safety there, your safety's probably going to make a play on it. There was maybe once or twice where the receiver just somehow caught it and the defensive back didn't make a play on it. But overall, I think the only things that need to be really tuned about Madden 20, and this game will actually be pretty good, is the wind-up speed on QBs when it actually comes to like short passes and make zones better, and that's about it. I mean, obviously we knew linebackers, defensive linemen, they're not going to be able to make those crazy jump animation plays. I'm okay with that as long as they play what's in front of them. If they play the slant, if they play the in route that's right behind them, then I'm perfectly fine with that as long as they can't jump up, 6 yards behind them, there's a post route or something. They can't take that off. Cool. But let them actually play something because they're basically useless in coverage. So that's my final opinions on the Madden 20 beta. Overall, I honestly have fun playing this game. It's just if they can fix that, this game would be a lot better. And I think that Madden 20 overall will be super good. I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and if you guys have played the beta yourself, let me know down below your guys' opinions, and also just let me know down below what you guys think about my opinions. What do you think about Madden 20? I honestly feel as though, guys, it is gonna be a solid game if they just fix a few select things. Hope you guys did enjoy the video though. The beta forums will be the pinned comment down below. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys next time.